Hold up.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Fox United here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we are back with my F1 2016 Career Mode Season 6, Part 7 now here for the Canadian Grand Prix. And as you can see, a couple of upgrades, I think that says Sauber Manor. I could be wrong. Sauber, someone else, I don't know. Screen's blurry. If you guys do enjoy today's video, don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're next. Oh my god, what is with my intros? They're so bad recently. Subscribe if you have not yet subscribed already. And yes, we are currently moving things onwards in the Canadian Grand Prix. And the first thing I wanted to discuss basically is some people have been asking why I'm not upgrading the Mercedes car and how I should see how the competition fares against an extremely powerful Mercedes. And the reason for that is content creation and viewing. Because really, if I upgraded this Mercedes car to its max, like quickly, it means that this battle that I'm having with Williams won't actually happen. And the fact is this is kind of the only reason why I'm doing this career mode again, is because I'm having this battle with Williams, and I feel like just spamming loads of upgrades on the car to make this thing the quickest, it honestly is just going to make the career mode boring for me, and it's going to get to that point where I just don't really want to record the videos anymore, and it makes it less frustrating. It makes it more frustrating for me, because I'm like, yeah, I'm on pole position, or I might be fighting Rosberg. I'm on pole position, and yeah, we're 20 seconds clear, and whatever, but like I really am relishing just having some fun and just relaxing on F1. So for now, until Williams starts really ramping up the upgrades and starts catching us, I'm not upgrading the car, because I really do enjoy having a good challenge with Williams, and hopefully you guys can understand that. So yeah, moving things on into the practice session. We did the 2 practice tests. We don't do the tyre wear test, remember, because it just takes too long and it saves me 25 minutes doing the tyre wear test and not having to go through that, so that's perfect. In qualifying though, in the Canadian Grand Prix, I will say that my race pace felt pretty good. My 1 lap pace felt dreadful. Intermediate conditions in Q1, so we were all on the intermediate tyres, and we were actually the fastest, and we were very quick in the inters against Williams. We've always been quick in the wet weather against Williams. Of course, go back to the Monaco Grand Prix last time around, and I just double checked to see if I was an ultimate, because I was 7/10 quicker, and I thought, what is this? Into Q2 then, we made a big mistake down the exit of the second part of the chicane there, causing us a little bit of problems, but as we come across the line, it is not going to be that much of a worry, because we are going to go and set the fastest lap and remain the quickest driver here in Q2, which is good for us. But of course, with the track conditions clearly drying, it may prove to be not really relevant in terms of actual pace that we have in the car, but we'll just have to wait and see further on. So as you can see there, we're going to grab ourselves all of our points. Moving on then into Q3, and you can see that we are now coming towards the line, and I had a very big problem actually keeping the tyres up to temperature, and I was struggling for grip on this new and dry and very much green surface. Into the chicane there, just completely bottled the second part of the chicane, got my apex completely wrong there, and coming across the line, we're going to be absolutely dreadful there. And it's P10. It's only P10. I went out very late in the session to give myself the best opportunity, and it just didn't work for me. We're P10. We qualified absolutely dreadful. And that was really just down to a fact of I just did not have any pace in the dry conditions. I really struggled, and Daniel Ricciardo was cheating. But yeah, I didn't have any pace in the dry conditions. Just could not get the tyres working. Maybe if I did one bank, of course, Canada is one of those laps where it's one of those tracks, sorry, where you have to do multiple laps to really get the tyres up to temperature. I think if I went out and did 2 laps back to back, it would have been much better for me. But I only went and did the 1 lap, and it really did cost me badly there. So awful qualifying there from myself, and we're going to have to make it up in the race here, as Emma gives me the session goals now for the Grand Prix itself. There they are on your screens. She obviously wants us to beat Nico Rosberg. That's probably the main thing in terms of trying to keep our first driver status, as we still are leading the championship, so it's all good on that end. Starting grid then into Williams front row with Massa getting on pole position again, with Bottas on second. Vettel only a 10th back, so he out-qualified Nico Rosberg in 4th place. You can see moving further down the order then, we've got the likes of Raikkonen, Verstappen and myself 1.8 seconds off the pace. A dreadful qualifying session. And then we've got the rest of the drivers, really. Mixture of the Haas, McLarens, Renaults, and then the Toro Rosso slightly further back with the Saubers and the Manors accumulating the back of the grid. And that's kind of how it has been from really my entire career mode, to be honest. So some things just never change, as we're going to be moving on then into the race itself here. So we're going to have a look at the race strategy in full then. So as you can see here, it's a very interesting strategy that they have given us here. So I was really struggling to think of a strategy. So that, as you can see there, I skipped through that a lot. I spent about a good 3 or 4 minutes trying to work out a good strategy. So I just cut out me lowering the fuel loads because it was literally just me thinking of a strategy to go for in this race. I decided that the one stop at the super softs to then the softs is the best way to go. And that's what we're going to do here. So we're onto the grid now here for this Canadian Grand Prix. We've got 5 red lights here for the Canadian Grand Prix. And it is lights out. Here we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. It's a good start for the Williams drivers. It's a good start for my teammate Rosberg, actually, as he attacks Vettel here. He's got in front of Vettel now as we're making a great start. Nearly going into the back of Hulkenberg there. That could have been catastrophic for us. We're going to go down the inside of Hulkenberg now. And that is us up further into this Grand Prix. Great start there. Moving up some positions now as we catch up to the back of Max Verstappen in the Red Bull now. Ricciardo behind with Raikkonen there. Battling nice and hard. I may have got the Red Bull drivers the wrong way around. I don't think I have yet. Already on the back of Verstappen here. I'm going to go to the inside line here. Break nice and late down the inside of Verstappen. Can we get Rosberg as well? No, we'll just set up for Verstappen for the time being. Great overtake there as he blocks Hulkenberg there. As Rosberg now slipstreaming Vettel down the straight. The Williams drivers shooting off into the distance. And we are already up into 5th in this Grand Prix. So having an electric start here in the Canadian Grand Prix. And we're not done yet here as we come through this high-speed chicane. We're now alongside with Rosberg. Rosberg forced onto the grass there by Vettel. We're going to come flying through here now against Sebastian Vettel. And that is us up into P3. We're going to give Vettel some space in the hairpin just in case he literally puts his nose there. And he does so. But we're up into 3rd place already. What an almighty start we've had in this Grand Prix. Up into P3, started 10th in the grid. All my rivals are on the soft tyres at the moment. Bear that in mind. They're all on soft tyres. We're on the super softs. We're on the quicker compounder tyres here. So really, in theoretical purposes of language that I don't really know of right now, we're actually in a better position than the rest of the drivers around me. So it's inevitable that we catch up to them. Lap 2 of the Grand Prix, or the end of lap 2, we catch up to Bottas. And as you can see on the mini-map, Massa's disappeared. He says the fast lap of the race so far, but he doesn't actually have a dot. We actually go into the fast lap of the race so far, so that's pretty interesting. Further back, though, we've got Rosberg attacking Vettel here on the end of lap 2. We're going to come into the chicane now. Can Rosberg get the groove done? He can. He bounced over the chicane, though. Vettel managed to hold it through, and he's blocked off Hulkenberg. Here comes Verstappen. Here comes Ricciardo as well. Will they make it 4 wide? They are. They're going to go 4 abreast down the pit straight. Rosberg, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, and Verstappen all going 4 west down. So 4 west, 4 abreast, and that's Hulkenberg gone. Hulkenberg's gone, and one of the Renaults is gone. That was never going to go easy. That's Ricciardo that's gone. And that was inevitable. 4 wide into turn 1. Rosberg backed out of it. And that was a horrible bit of driving there from the rest. Onto lap 3, though, as all that battle is going on behind us. We're onto the back of Bottas now. We really are flying in this Canadian Grand Prix. We had no pace in qualifying, but we've got all the pace in the world here in the race. And now as we slipstream with Bottas here, under the bridge we go now. Can we make the move down the inside? Bottas versus myself, down the inside of Bottas into the hairpin. And we get the move stuck there on Valtteri. Really good stuff there. And we can carry on our way here in this Canadian Grand Prix. And some great action in this race so far. And you can see how much we pulled away from Bottas. DRS is enabled there. And that's luckily for us as we managed to start pulling away a bit more from Bottas now. We actually got a bit of a buffer here as I put the car back down to standard fuel mixture as I try and look to hunt down Felipe Massa now, the race leader. On to lap 12 of the Grand Prix now. It's taken me a long time to catch up to Felipe Massa, but we're finally in the DRS zone of the Williams driver himself. And as you can see, look at that on the mini-map there in the bottom left. There is no dot towards me and Massa, so I literally had to rely on the gap that it was showing me through each sectors and just seeing his car itself, because I have no idea where he was on track until I actually had to, until he was visible, obviously. Into turn 1 we go now. We're very close to Massa, only half a second back. They're really close into turn 2, but we just managed to keep the car stable as we look to try and get past him, who we need to get past him, because if Massa pits for a set of super softs, he's going to be much quicker than us in the race. We need to start building the gap now. Get in front of Massa, because we're going to have the undercut no matter what, because we're going to be pitting earlier than Massa because he's on soft tyres. But he will be on super softs at the end of the race, and that's where it's really going to hamper us. So we really just need to crack on with it now, get in the lap times, and just really push extremely hard in this race as we're coming towards the chicane now here. Braking nice and late. Get a corner cut slightly there. Whoops, that's my bad. But Massa's gone. Massa's engines failed in front of us. Felipe Massa's out of the race and his engines bottled it. Williams race. Oh, that's ripperoni and pepperoni for Massa. He's pulled off to the side. And when I say in this career mode that luck is everything I always have, I'm not taking the mick. Massa's just retired. And that's just made this race kind of easy for us now. I mean, Massa's just absolutely blown up on the side of the track. And we were catching him, no doubt. But Massa was holding the gap as well. But Massa's... Oh, that's so unlucky for Felipe Massa. I do actually feel kind of bad for him in that sense. But Felipe Massa's out of the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's one Williams driver left. So I had a gap of 8 seconds over Bottas. So, yeah, that's kind of going to really pay into my hands come the end of this Grand Prix. So, Massa out of the race, unfortunately. Wow, that's actually quite a shocking one. But the gap between me and Massa was about half a second or so, and we were maintaining it quite nicely. So I'm a bit confused, honestly, about how Massa... I don't even know, to be honest. It's still a bit of a shock now, to be honest. But that's just literally made my race so much easier. If Massa was still in this race, who knows what this race could have panned out to be like. It could have been something different. I needed to get past him. Further on into the Grand Prix, though, and Bottas has made another pit stop onto super soft tyres now. So he's on the quicker compound, and he's right behind Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. And as you can tell, Bottas is going to get a move on here. So as you can see now, riding on board with Bottas in that Williams car, he's going to absolutely fly past the Ferrari. And you can see it here, look, straight line speed, OP in that Williams, comes flying through there. Into the chicane we go now. Bottas makes it up into second place. Vettel comes into the pits now and will go for a new stint on the super soft tyres, I would believe. That will take him maybe to the end of the race. He might have to do another stop though. But there it is. Vettel comes in for another set of tyres there. And also in front there is Max Verstappen, who is also pitted for a set of super soft tyres, showing you guys that my rivals are going the other way on strategy. On to lap 19 of the Grand Prix now, and things are getting a lot better and a lot easier out front for myself. I can start to relax there, as Kevin Magnussen, unfortunately, is out of this Grand Prix here, and that is Kevin Magnussen here we're riding on board with. He's got Rosberg behind him, so my teammate Rosberg was battling with Magnussen. I don't know why Rosberg's all the way down there, but he was, and that's that. But on to lap 26 of the Grand Prix now. Bottas is closing us very, very quickly. The gap's about 3 seconds now as we come on towards the final chicane. It's going to be very close, but Bottas pits. So Bottas can't get the super softs to the end of the race, and he's converted to a 2-stop. So Bottas, who is only 3 seconds behind me, is now making a second pit stop for another set of super soft tyres. So my rivals starts on softs, moves on to a set of super softs and another set of super softs. So my rivals were committed to doing a 2-stop race. I was committed to the 1-stop, and I think my strategy of just going for track position has worked a dream here now as Bottas, ooh, he's going to rejoin very close to Sebastian Vettel here. Vettel on the exit is going to get Bottas, and Bottas is going to be frustrated behind Vettel. He's already going to be frustrated anyway because he just didn't get past us when he had the opportunity. He just didn't close quick enough here. Coming around this difficult section now into this chicane. Will Bottas make the move stick? Not quite. Unfortunately on Sebastian Vettel, he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. This is where Bottas is really going to get the job done here. Nice look at the Williams' rear diffuser there. Dared to be different there on the exhaust. I'd rather not see that though. But Bottas there flies through on Sebastian Vettel on the chicane though. But Vettel fights him off still. So fair play to Sebastian. He's not giving up in this Canadian Grand Prix. He's going to battle Bottas all the way to the end here, and Bottas down the inside into the hairpin now. It is going to be a one-way trip, unfortunately, for Sebastian Vettel, and that is down the order as Bottas there makes the move on Sebastian, and that is him up into P2 now in the Grand Prix. And on to lap 35 of the Grand Prix, that was kind of it, really. Bottas closed on me really quickly, but we started 10th in this Grand Prix, and we made the 1-stop work, and that's going to be P1 for the Canadian Grand Prix. So, yeah, a very, very convincing win for myself there. Bottas did close the gap, though, remember, down to 3 seconds after it was 3 seconds and made a pit stop. So, he was flying, but I was cruising towards the end. But this video just highlights why I win championships in this game. It's the unreliability. I just get so lucky. I just get super lucky with how the racing pans out, and it really is awesome. So yeah, we managed to make the 1-stop work. Of course, I was always committed to the 1-stop. I was never going to switch to the 2-stopper because I knew that track position was key. And if Bottas was quicker, if I pitted for a set of super softs to cover off Bottas, Bottas may have potentially actually been quicker than me, and he would have been easier for him to get into the slipstream. So at least with the gap that I had out front, I was able to try and manage that and make sure that Bottas wouldn't get to the slipstream come the end of the Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel gets on the podium, which is a nice return to the podium for Ferrari, who have been nowhere in this career mode, unfortunately. But there we go, guys. That is it for this Canadian Grand Prix. Not that much action, if I'm fully honest. There was not as much action as I would have expected. But there you can see there, Rosberg finishing very far down the order as Massa fails to finish, which is very disappointing with his engine failure. And then, of course, the Red Bulls a little bit far down. as we'll have a look at some of the driver warnings there. Just wanted to see what was going on in the race. In the driver standings, we increase our lead over now Valtteri Bottas, who after his second place in the Canadian Grand Prix overtakes Nico Rosberg after his poor performance. Massa slowly quite far down the order as well. He's P4 but far off the lead of the championship thanks to that DNF, which cost him massively there. Constructor standings, we're still leading Williams, but it's still tight between myself and Williams, and that is it then for this career mode. So guys, if you have enjoyed today's F1 2016 career mode around Canada, don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to the channel already. Just want to thank you guys for the support on my channel recently, and Rosberg beat me there by 1 point in the rivalry. I was so angry about that. But we are starting to gain a lot of quite a few subscribers now. Quite often, and it's really nice to see people starting to come to the channel and starting to make this channel boost up a little bit more now. So thanks ever so much for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, it's just a team update saying I'm amazing at racing. But until then guys, I'll see you on another video. Take care all, peace.